Hello and welcome back to the Kindness Code. My name is Carmel Sawbury and I'm here with my work bestie, the wonderful, the very knowledgeable Chelsea Bailey. Welcome, Chelsea.
Thank you. Hello.
So today we're going to be a bit controversial. I don't think everyone agrees with this, but we're going to discuss the idea that residential care homes for children are actually family units.
Yes.
What's your take on this, Chelsea?
Well, I feel very passionately about this because I believe that they are. And there is a bit of a stigma around residential children's homes and that actually not being the case, that they're not a family setting and that it's kind of uh, one of the last options that a local authority would choose for a child.
And we were actually at a conference recently, and I know some people really did believe that they were a family setting. And actually, once I was in the homes, I said something to one of the children about this is a family. She said, this isn't my family. My family is back where she lived. So there's that side of it. But also, your angle is that, well, what is a family? We sold the idea that it's mummy, daddy, and 2.4 children. But as we know,
Yeah.
there's loads of iterations
Yes.
of what a family is.
Yeah. And I think it was so the conference that we were at recently is what motivated me to want to have this conversation. And I said to you on the train on the way home, and I said I was really kicking myself for not saying anything when that conversation was taking place, but I was just listening and the moment kind of passed. But I don't actually believe that people didn't agree in the room. It wasn't a debate. It was just a fact. It was just, yeah, okay, well, as we all know, residential settings for children and residential homes for children aren't family settings. Foster placements are. But the argument was, but all children's homes should be and hopefully are therapeutic. So that was the conversation, and it wasn't a debate. It wasn't a point of discussion. It was just because it is. And I thought it was really interesting that everybody in the room, nobody challenged it, me included, but I was having this internal debate in my head. But everybody in the room was agreeable to that statement that, yeah, okay, cool. We all know that they're not a family setting. And I, in my head, was going, what on earth do you mean? Yes, they absolutely are. I understand that there is a difference to a foster placement and a residential placement. I understand that. And I understand that the makeup of them is very different. And I can even understand why one would feel that a residential home isn't a family setting. But I feel like there's been a sort of silent hierarchy that's been built in social care that has put residential care at the bottom of the pile. And this isn't coming from a place of, I work in residential care and so I'm really protective of it. It's truly because I believe that the messaging around it is received by the children. And I see it and I hear the children. I want to move on to a foster placement. Or it's like the gold standard and it's where they're all trying to get. And it's not right for everybody. And so this isn't me saying residential care should be the first option. And, it's nothing to do with that. I think there is a place for all of the provisions that exist. And I think that individually they can all be wonderful for their own reasons. But what needs to be at the center of it is the need of the young person without a stigma attached to it of, for example, your behaviors are ones that challenge significantly that they couldn't be managed in a foster placement. Therefore, you have to go to a residential. Then what is attached to that is a narrative of, I'm sort of air quote, not good enough to be in a foster placement. They wouldn't have me. And that's not necessarily true.
I must admit, I probably had the idea that a couple of our children, their placements have ended because, this isn't the label you use, but was that promoted onto a foster, we've done a good job and now they are good enough to go to a foster. But actually, we provide quite a fun, therapeutic family environment for our children. And you say it might be the best thing for our children. And this idea that, yeah, there's a subtext, isn't it? There's a subtext that actually, yeah, American cope. You see, you have to go to children's homes.
And of course, children's homes are set up for different needs, different risks, those types of things. So that is a factor that has to be considered. And I'm not arguing many of those things. But what I am wanting to challenge is the narrative, particularly that they are not family settings. And I suppose my question to people working in our sector that I want to ask you to challenge yourself on is, what is family and what is a family setting? Because actually, across most of the world, traditionally, children aren't raised by two parents in a house, and that's the end of it, with a closed front door, and this is our family. They're raised by villages, and that phrase, "it takes a village," exists for a reason, because it takes a village. And it's quite a, I suppose, Western idea that we have two parents in a home with 2.4 children in our house with the door shut, and that's our family. um but in other cultures across the world and other countries across the world, I'm here, family is what we decide it is. And there are homes that have, multi-generational family members living. You might have great grandma, grandma, parents, younger sibling, you've got everybody living in one house. And you might have,
Do we have families?
say, yeah,
Blended families?
yeah, blended families.
Lots of strange family, parents and things. There's a whole different.
It looks unique to who you are and your family. And funnily enough, we are all actually having a conversation this morning about families being a bit bonkers, and
Obviously not mine. Okay.
but because they're all made up of unique personalities and people, and it's just the tapestry of family for everybody is different. And you might grow up in a house where your parents work, and it's auntie that picks you up from school, and it's grandma that cooks you dinner, and it's an older sibling that gets you ready, for the evening before mum and or dad or whoever parent is comes home to do bedtime, for example. You might get dropped off at breakfast club in the morning, and your childminder picks you up. You know what I mean? Like, there are lots of different people that care for children, and we have to lean on communities of people to help us raise our children. And it comes from community, and that is, that lovely phrase that we all know of, "it takes a village," is exactly that. It's neighbors, it's community elders, it's other family members, extended family members, it's siblings, it's parents too. But I don't believe that we should be promoting the narrative that what air quote family means is mum, dad, or two parents in the house with siblings. For some people, that is what it is, and my point is that it's different for everybody, and whatever that version is for you is okay, and that matters. And if we ask about what is family, forget who the people are, all those people I just described. We don't need to worry about that. What is family? It's adults that know the children well. It is adults that are attuned to the children's wants, likes, interests, needs. It's people that sit around the dinner table and share a meal with you at dinner time. It's people that share positive experiences with you. It's the people that celebrate your birthdays with you. That's what family is. And I think as an adult, we can probably all say that we all end up with some family that we've chosen along the way as well, that isn't necessarily our blood relatives, but people that have become family. Most of us have got an auntie or an uncle or a cousin that isn't actually our auntie or uncle or cousin, but they're our chosen family, and they're the people that create the makeup of what a family is.
When you say it like that and describe the roles as opposed to the person, then it is a family. Like the person that celebrates your birthday with you, the person that, you know, is part of your identity, part of your story is who's there, being there with you. And actually my experience of the people that I've come across in our care homes are it was unbelievable. Like the house managers, RMs, are just out their kids. We just talk about our kids. We don't talk about young people or children, just our kids. And one of the teams should know who I was when I said like this. She's the roast dinner queen, fantastic. And I was like, how? She's got two of her own kids, and so but they're just my kids too. And actually, that is really our very best team, are the ones who just see them and they love them. They love them too.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that, because I was just going to say, but they love them. I'm like, oh, I get goosebumps thinking about it, because I love them. They are children who are loved, and family changes, and people come and go in our families, and it doesn't mean if you grow up in a residential children's home that you didn't have an air quote normal life. It was your life, and it was your experience, and it was real. And the people that were around you at that time were the people that cared for you. I've got young people in their 20s now that I looked after when they were 13 that still text me, email me, send me pictures of important things, weddings, family events. You know,
It must have that sorry, that must have pretty cool for you. I love it. It had such a fundamental difference to your life and such an incredible relationship that you're still
yeah,
together.
and they feel like part of my family, you know, and it doesn't, not in an intense way, but in the way that, you know, I've got family members that live in other countries that I don't speak to very often, but they're my family, and I love to hear what's going on. And I when I was managing a residential children's home, I remember we had a family, and um there was some illness in the family, and you know, we supported the family and the young person through that period of time. Um, and I remember receiving a letter from the mother of the child that lived with us at the time. And she'd actually written a similar letter to the local authority around the young person's placement coming to an end, and how she described all of the staff in the home that I managed as now her family's extended family. And it was so beautiful because even the family of the young person who was being looked after felt part of that family that we had, because we were all in it together. And, you know, in another episode, I talked about, you know, the children's family, treating them with love and kindness and respect. And we will get better outcomes for our children if we're all in it together. And that is a prime example of it taking village. We're just all in it together, you know. We're all just, you know, mum and dad need a bit of help right now. And so we are here and we are the help, but we can be part of this family together. It's not about saying to the children, we are now your family.
So I think that's probably a really important thing that it's a type of family. So I said to one of the children, it was a really lovely day in the home. And I just made a passing comment about family. And she's like, "You're not my family."
Yeah,
And so it's almost, it's not, we're not telling the children, we're your new family. It's almost a mentality, isn't it?
yes, it is totally. And it's about helping the children. They can interpret and perceive it as whatever they want. They don't have to call us their family. We don't have to call them their family. You will hear all of the staff talk about, certainly at niche care, you know, I will hear all of the staff talk about their family at work, the children being their family. And one of the children in one of our homes, every time I go there, he says, family hug. And whoever the staff are there, he just wants to scoop everybody in and we do a big group hug. So for that young person, it's family time and it's family hug, and he uses that word a lot. But the child you're talking about, you know, that wasn't a word that she wanted to use because she was trying to figure that out, and that's okay too. But what's important is the question that we ask ourselves is, what is family? And family is love, is safety, it's warmth, it's people that care for you, that know you, that celebrate your wins, that pick you up when you fall. That is family, and it can look and feel and come in all different shapes and sizes. And I just think, I just really want to hit that home, because I really do challenge that narrative that the best place for a young person is a foster placement, because it's the most air quote normal family setting. And for me, it shouldn't be about that. It's about what are the individual needs of that young person and what is the best setting for them. Got another young person currently who told me when she came that, you know, her request was to come to residential because she actually found a foster family environment too triggering for her, because it was a mum and a dad and two other young people that were their children that lived there. And it was too reminiscent of being at home with her own parents. And actually she liked that the residential setting was busier and people come and go. And so, you know, there's a need that is individual to each of our children, and foster families are beautiful and wonderful, and I'm glad they exist, just as I am the way residential homes too. And so this isn't about the residential home or the foster or versus the two. It's the message that the gold standard is foster, because that is what family is. I just want us to, and when I say us, it's we, the royal us, the royal we in the sector of looking after children. I want us to be brave enough to say that family does come in all different shapes and sizes, and it's okay, and that our messaging attached to living in a residential home means that uh, there's
Almost,
something better to aspire to.
almost a family is a feeling, isn't it?
Yes.
But has a concept. It's not a structure. Yeah. And I know when I go into our homes, it does feel like there's love. You feel it. And and it is kind of a amazing thing. But I guess to be led by the child, like let them feel the family, but we can't label it as such because, yeah, I guess so many are protective and loyal to their own families, aren't they?
Totally, and it's not.
Get that.
Yeah, and I think I really want my point there to come across is that I'm not suggesting here that what we're doing is telling the young people that live with us, we're your family and this is your family now, much like you wouldn't do that in any type of setting. It's not about the staff that are working in them. It's not about the children that live in them in that way. It's about the messaging that's attached to it. And I just found it really interesting when we were in that conference that it was just a given, and it was just not even a thought. We all just agree and knew that, yeah, of course, you don't want a young person to go to residential if it can be avoided because it's not a family setting. And for me, that shouldn't be the reason. We are creating family settings everywhere. They just look different, and that's okay. And actually, if you're in a residential, if your child's living in a residential home, it's because that's what's best suited to them. And if they're living in a foster placement, that is because that is what is best suited to them. And that there isn't messaging that's attached to being in residential that the children pick up and wear.
I love this. I love that turning it on its head because actually it is that whole idea that family is a feeling. It's been a short little show, but I think it's been really thought provoking. And hopefully, anyone who's working in homes can have that they bring the family as a feeling. Call me blunt if you don't agree with Chelsea. I hate it.
Thank you. Glad you
You
did.
come to these kios, they like just the lovely vibes of being that family is a feeling and that kind of love that's in the home.
And just break the stigma, challenge the narrative. We're all, we are all an extended family too. Everybody that's working in this sector, we're all here trying to achieve the same thing and get the same outcomes because we love and care about all the children that we work with. And so it's just up to us to create the environment, create the feeling, and just challenge the narrative.
I think that was a top tip. Don't narrative. We've got families going on. But I hope you've enjoyed this. I would say if you've got any thoughts or comments, drop them in the comments because I think this is an important issue or just idea, concept that we are really trying to create beautiful therapeutic homes and help our kids heal. Anyway, until next time, I've been Carmel Sawbury. This is Chelsea Bailey, and this is the Kindness Code.